The Sony BRAVIA 9 and the Samsung QN900D are bringing the heat in the battle of the best mini LED TVs. These beasts are packed with jaw-dropping visuals and top-tier smart features that'll make your living room feel like a cinema. But wait, with so much tech awesomeness, picking between these two can be a real challenge. That's why, in today's video, we're going to compare them on design, smart platforms, gaming performance, and picture quality. So, can the BRAVIA 9 steal the crown from the QN900D? Let's find out. Let's kick things off by talking about how these TVs look, because let's face it, if you are dropping this kind of cash on a TV, you want it to look good, right? First up, we've got the Sony BRAVIA 9. This thing is a beast, measuring nearly 57 inches wide and weighing in at a back-breaking 71 pounds. So, yeah, you might want to invite a buddy over for setup day, but trust me, it's worth the effort. Sony's gone for a sleek look here. The screen is framed by this dark metal band that's barely there, giving it a really clean, premium feel. And get this. They've even jazzed up the back of the TV. It's covered in these black plastic squares that make it look cool from every angle. It's like Sony's saying, yeah, we know you're probably going to shove this against a wall, but just in case you don't, we've got you covered. Now let's talk about the stand. Sony's giving us options. You can wall mount this bad boy if you want, but if you're going tabletop, you've got choices. The stand can go wide, narrow, or you can even adjust it to make room for a soundbar. Pretty cool, right? On the other side, we've got the Samsung QN900D. Samsung's taking a different approach here. They're going for that barely there look. The screen is pretty much all you see. There's just a super thin metal frame around it. Samsung calls this their Infinity Air design, which is a fancy way of saying, we made the bezel disappear. The QN900D sits on this square base with a mirror finish. Samsung says it makes the TV look like it's floating. It's a pretty slick effect that adds a touch of futuristic flair to your living room. One big difference between these two is how they handle all the TV guts. You know, the processors, the ports, all that good stuff. Sony keeps it all in the TV itself, while Samsung's got this separate box called the One Connect. If you're big on the clean, minimalist look, this might be a game changer for you. Now let's talk about ports. The Sony BRAVIA 9 keeps it circle tight. You've got your usual suspects. Coaxial for cable, Ethernet for rock-solid internet, optical audio out for your sound system, and a couple of USB ports for, well, whatever you're plugging into USB ports these days. But here's where it gets interesting and potentially disappointing for some of you. The BRAVIA 9 has 4 HDMI ports, but only 2 of them are the fancy HDMI 2.1 kind. That's the one you need for 4K at 120Hz and all those other high-end features. The other 2 are the older HDMI 2.0. On the plus side, Sony's included these snap-on plastic panels that let you hide all the ports. So if you're not into that whole spaghetti junction look behind your TV, Sony's got you covered. Now let's swing over to the Samsung QN900D. Remember that One Connect box we talked about earlier? Well, this is where it really shines. All of the QN900D's ports are on this separate box. You've got 4 HDMI ports, including 1 eARC for your fancy soundbar, 3 USB ports, Ethernet optical audio out, and even a 3.5mm port for connecting to a home theater system. The beauty of this system is that it makes cable management a breeze. You can hide the One Connect box in a cabinet and just have one cable running to your TV. Both TVs give you plenty of ways to connect your stuff, but Samsung's One Connect box might be the winner for those of you who break out in hives at the sight of tangled cables. Oh, and speaking of connecting stuff, don't forget to connect with that subscribe button and notification bell. You don't want to miss out on our next tech showdown, do you? Alright, let's see what these TVs are packing in the smarts department. The Sony BRAVIA 9 is running Google TV. The interface is slick and easy to navigate. You've got your top picks, your apps, your Google curated content. It's all there, front and center. And because it's Google, it syncs up with your Google account, so your searches and preferences carry over from your phone or computer. You can cast stuff from your phone using Chromecast or AirPlay too, so whether you're Team Android or Team Apple, you're covered. And get this, you can control your TV with your voice using Google Assistant. Just say, "Hey Google, play the latest episode of insert your current binge watch here," and boom, you're in business. One really cool thing about the BRAVIA 9 is that it's got this ATSC 3.0 tuner. That's a fancy way of saying it can pick up 4K broadcasts over the air. It's not a big deal right now, but it might be in the future. Sony's playing the long game here. Oh, and Sony throws in 10 credits for their Sony Pictures Core streaming service. It's not exactly Netflix, but hey, free movies are free movies, right? Now let's look at the Samsung QN900D. It's running on Tizen, which is Samsung's own operating system. It's come a long way in recent years, and now it's pretty good. The interface is clean and intuitive, and you've got easy access to all your favorite streaming apps. Like the Sony, the Samsung plays nice with voice assistants. You've got Samsung's own Bixby, plus Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant. The QN900D also supports SmartThings, which is Samsung's smart home platform. So if you've got other Samsung smart devices, you can control them right from your TV. The QN900D also has this thing called Samsung Gaming Hub. It's a central spot for all your cloud gaming needs, with support for services like Xbox Game Pass, Nvidia GeForce Now, and more. So you can game without a console. Pretty neat, right? Overall, both TVs are bringing some serious smarts to the table. The BRAVIA 9 might have a slight edge with Google TV's wider ecosystem, but Samsung's not far behind. It really comes down to which ecosystem you're already invested in. And hey, speaking of smart choices, don't forget to check out the links in the description for some great deals on these TVs. Your wallet will thank you later. Now it's time for the main event, the reason we're all here. Picture quality. Both of these TVs use mini LED technology, but how do they stack up against each other? Let's find out. The Sony BRAVIA 9 has some bold claims, and you know what? It's backing them up. In its professional picture mode, this thing delivers super deep blacks. Pair that with its brightness and you've got a display that can handle pretty much anything you throw at it. The BRAVIA 9's peak brightness measured on a 10% window in filmmaker mode is a whopping 1,870 nits. That's bright enough to make you reach for your sunglasses. Full screen brightness is also impressive, measuring 470 nits in the same mode on a 100% white pattern. But here's the catch. This stellar performance is mainly in the professional picture mode. In standard mode, those perfect blacks start to look more like dark grays. So if you want the best picture, you might need to do a bit of tweaking. Now let's talk about the Samsung QN900D. This bad boy is Samsung's flagship, and it shows. It's got something called Quantum Matrix Technology Pro, which is a fancy way of saying that it controls its mini LEDs with incredible precision. The result? Super deep blacks and bright highlights. The QN900D also has this neural quantum processor with 8K AI upscaling. In plain English, that means it can take your regular old HD content and make it look awesome on this 8K screen. And when we say awesome, we mean it. The details are crisp, the colors are vibrant, and the overall image is just mwah, chef's kiss. Both TVs support HDR10, HDR10 Plus, and HLG, but here's a plot twist. Neither of them supports Dolby Vision. It's not a deal breaker, but it might make some video nerds a bit sad. When it comes to viewing angles, the BRAVIA 9 starts to show its weakness. Move too far to the side and the picture starts to look a bit funky. The QN900D does a bit better here, but it's still not perfect. In the end, both of these TVs are bringing some serious picture quality to the table. The BRAVIA 9 might have a slight edge in that professional mode, but the QN900D is no slouch either. You really can't go wrong with either one. And hey, if you want to see these TVs in action for yourself, why not head down to your local electronics store? Just be sure to tell them we sent you, and maybe you'll score a sweet deal. Check out the links in the description for more info. Now, with the latest consoles pushing graphics to new heights, you need a TV that can keep up. So let's see how these two stack up in the gaming arena. First up, the Sony BRAVIA 9. Now, given that Sony makes the PlayStation 5, you'd expect them to bring their A-game here, right? Well, they don't disappoint. This TV supports all the HDMI 2.1 goodies you want for gaming: 4K at 120Hz, variable refresh rate, and auto low latency mode. But Sony doesn't stop there. They've added this pop-up game bar that lets you tweak settings on the fly. Want to reduce motion blur? Done. Need better visibility in dark scenes? There's a setting for that. You can even display crosshairs on screen if you're feeling a bit cheaty. And get this, there's a multi-view feature that lets you watch a YouTube walkthrough while you play. It's perfect for when you're stuck on that one impossible level. The BRAVIA 9 also supports Dolby Vision for gaming, which can make compatible games look even more spectacular. For PlayStation 5 owners, there are some extra goodies. The Perfect for PlayStation 5 program includes features like Auto HDR tone mapping and Auto Genre Picture Mode. But here's a small wrinkle. In input lag tests, the BRAVIA 9 measures 17.1 milliseconds. Now, that's not bad, but it's not great either. Most serious gamers are looking for numbers under 15 milliseconds. One unique feature of the BRAVIA 9 is its game screen size adjustment. You can shrink down the picture to a size you're comfortable with. It's perfect if you need to sit close to the screen or if you find a smaller picture more immersive. It's like having a big TV and a small TV in one. Now let's swing over to the Samsung QN900D. This TV is not messing around when it comes to gaming. It's got 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, all supporting 4K at 120Hz. But Samsung takes it a step further. The QN900D supports 4K at 240Hz. That's a first for a consumer TV, and it's a big deal for PC gamers with high-end rigs. The QN900D also has Samsung's Game Bar, which gives you quick access to important game settings, and with a measured input lag of just 10.8 milliseconds, it's got a slight edge over the Sony in terms of responsiveness. But the real star of the show is Samsung's Gaming Hub. This is a central spot for all your gaming needs. You can access cloud gaming services like Xbox Game Pass, Nvidia GeForce Now, and more right from your TV. No console required. It's a pretty sweet deal if you're into cloud gaming. Alright, now let's talk about sound, because let's face it, even the prettiest picture in the world isn't worth much if it sounds like it's coming through a tin can. The Sony BRAVIA 9 comes equipped with a 70-watt speaker system. It's not using Sony's fancy Acoustic Surface Audio Plus technology that you'll find in their OLED TVs, but it still packs a punch. The sound is clear and reasonably well balanced, with dialogue coming through nice and crisp. One cool feature of the BRAVIA 9 is its beam tweeter. This bounces sound upward, which Sony claims makes the audio seem to come from exactly the right spot on the screen. And you know what? It actually works pretty well. When you're watching action movies, the sound placement is surprisingly accurate. The BRAVIA 9 also supports Dolby Atmos and DTS-X, which can give you a more immersive sound experience. But let's be real. While it sounds good for a TV, it's not going to replace a dedicated sound system or a high-end soundbar. Speaking of soundbars, if you've got a Sony soundbar, you can use the TV's speakers in conjunction with it, thanks to Sony's Acoustic Center Sync feature. It's a nice touch that can give your audio a bit more oomph. Now let's talk about the Samsung QN900D. This TV comes with a 6.2.4 channel Dolby Atmos speaker system powered by 90 watts of amplification. On paper, that sounds pretty impressive, and in practice, well, it's not bad at all. The QN900D's Object Tracking Sound Pro feature does a good job of making audio feel like it's coming from the right place on the screen, and when you're watching Dolby Atmos content, you get a decent sense of height and space in the audio. Like the Sony, the Samsung also has a feature that lets it work in tandem with a soundbar. It's called Q Symphony, and it works with compatible Samsung soundbars to create a bigger, more immersive soundstage. So, after all that, which TV comes out on top? Well, it's a close call, but if we had to pick a winner, we're gonna have to give the edge to the Samsung QN900D. Now, don't get me wrong. The Sony BRAVIA 9 is an absolute beast of a TV, but Samsung's just bringing a little extra to the table here. Let's break it down. First off, that One Connect box is a game changer. If you're someone who hates cable clutter, and let's be real, who doesn't, Samsung's got you covered. It's just so clean, it makes me want to reorganize my whole living room. When it comes to smart features, both TVs are bringing the heat, but Samsung's gaming hub? That's the cherry on top. Being able to game without a console is pretty sweet, especially if you're tight on space or just don't want to shell out for a new gaming rig. Now, picture quality is where things get really tight. Both of these TVs are great, but Samsung's 8K resolution and that fancy AI upscaling? It's like they're living in 3024. It's not a massive difference, but hey, every little bit counts, right? For gaming, Samsung takes the crown again. That 4K at 240Hz support is just bonkers. If you're a hardcore gamer who needs every frame and every millisecond, the QN900D is your new best friend. Audio-wise, both TVs sound great for built-in speakers. But Samsung's 6.2.4 channel Dolby Atmos system? It's like having a mini home theater right out of the box. But here's the thing, and this is important. The Sony BRAVIA 9 is still an incredible TV. If you're a die-hard movie buff who spends hours tweaking settings to get that perfect picture, you might actually prefer the Sony. That professional mode is no joke. And if you've got a PS5, the BRAVIA 9 has some tricks up its sleeve that'll make your gaming experience even better. So here's the bottom line. If you want the absolute cutting edge and you're big into gaming, go for the Samsung QN900D. If you're all about that cinematic experience and you've got a PS5, the Sony BRAVIA 9 might be your jam. But let's be real for a second. Both of these TVs are top of the line, cream of the crop. Insert your favorite superlatives here, amazing. You're gonna have a killer viewing experience no matter which one you choose. It's like trying to choose between a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. Either way, you're gonna have a good time. So what do you think? Are you Team Samsung or Team Sony? Or are you still rocking the hand-me-down TV from college? No judgment here, we've all been there. Let us know in the comments below. And hey, if this comparison helped you out, or if you just enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We've got tons more tech showdowns coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss out.